Welcome to Prime Life. We call it Retirement 2.0. Leave each episode with tips and new ideas to help you navigate retirement in our new age. It's your time. Make it count.
This podcast is for educational purposes only. It is not intended as medical, investment, or financial advice. We do not sponsor or endorse any of the individuals, companies, products, or services featured on this podcast. Any statements or opinions expressed are of the individual who makes them. We hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Prime Life Podcast. It's great to be here today. I'm here with my two co-hosts. Joseph, how are you doing today?
Mary, great to see you. Great to be here. Excited for today's episode.
I am as well. And Laura, how are you?
Doing well. It's always great to be back and, new year, new start. So excited for our conversation today. And I guess with that, I'll jump right in with our intro. Today, joining us, we have Kathy Tarochione. She's the visionary founder and CEO of the Golden Life Community, which is a lifestyle empowerment organization dedicated to enriching the lives of mature women over 55. With over 3 decades of experience in healthcare and community building, Kathy is passionate about creating innovative mental health solutions that address the unique challenges faced by mature women, which combines cutting-edge technology with compassionate support. So with that, Kathy, thank you so much for joining us here today. I know Mary, Joseph, and I are very excited to have you. Please share a bit with our listeners, a little bit about yourself and more about the work that you do.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me here. I am excited to be here. Well, I'm a 78-year-old disabled widow that is super savvy when it comes to helping others. I've over the last, I would say, 20 years, I've had a series of challenges that have been confronting me, and I don't look at them as challenges. I look at them as opportunities now. And those opportunities have been coming more and more and more because the older I get, the more it seems that there are people that need help. So how far back do you want me to go in terms of, well, we only have 30 minutes. So I'll say that I spent about 35 years in the healthcare industry. And during that time, I realized that when a woman gets to a certain age, now I'm talking now, let's say like in your 50s or your 60s, women end up having a difficult time in navigating through all the changes that are happening in their life. So what will happen is a woman will become depressed, she'll become isolated, lonely, and even though she may be very active in the community or she may be doing some things that are keeping her busy, there's a level of mental issues that occur that they don't share with others. So I was in the hospital 2 years ago, or almost 3 years ago, and before I went in the hospital, I had formed a group of women, about 300, at that time we called it the Golden Girls. And it was for the purpose of being able to come together in a private setting and just talk about the things that are really bothering us that we don't talk to anybody, that we don't tell our husbands, we don't tell our friends, the things that are embarrassing, the things that really hurt. And while I was in the hospital, this group was a Facebook group. There were only about 300 women at that time. And I did this video. I was given a year to live. I was told that put my affairs in order. And I was really pretty sick 2 years ago. So I did this video and I was telling them in a comical way, I'm still here. I haven't croaked yet. And while I'm still here, these are the things that I think we should do as a group, and let's do it together. Well, it ended up in 48 hours, I had over 180,000 views on it, and I had over 2,000 comments of women coming together and saying, oh my God, we really need this. So the group went from 300 to 3,000 within a short period of time. And I realized at that point, I'm not going anywhere. They can give me a year notice, but I'm not going anywhere. I've got a purpose, so I'm here. And I know that it's super important for me to help these women. And what I mean by help is not giving them resources, tools, things like that, places to go to, exercises to do, meditation, none of that. What I realized that in my life, what was important to me was I didn't have the mental strength that I should have by utilizing the golden friendships that I have already developed. And with that in mind, I went to these women and I said, I want to be your golden friend. I want you to be my golden friend. And what does that mean? That means you show up. That means you listen to what I have to say. You don't try to fix me, and don't try to send me someplace to get fixed. In the meantime, how am I going to help you and you help me? Because if we share each other's life stories, you know yourself, when you listen to somebody that has had a story where there's a problem, all of a sudden you forget about your own. And you start focusing on that person. So that's what started to develop. And I realized this is really working. So the Golden Girls community then went to what we decided to call the Golden Life community, because it is about a lifestyle empowerment, a change. And with doing that, we realized that how are we going to set this up? So we thought, well, we'll set up a community, a virtual community. And that virtual community will be about bringing women together, not like you would think of a typical online community where women come in and they are sitting there saying, what's in it for me? And they're going to be gleaming things, classes, courses, things like that, resources for them to improve themselves. So no, we reversed it and we said, let's make this a community that is a connection community where women that come to it are coming with the mindset of a contributing mindset, where they come saying, okay, here are the gifts that I've been given, and here are the things that I can do to help other women. So they come in with a contributing mindset. So rather than coming in and joining, they request to join with the caveat that they agree to contribute, meaning they show up, meaning they will be part and parcel to what we're doing. So what we found was we didn't want to put in courses, we didn't want to put in these different things, but what did we want? So we started putting together these golden voices meetups. And we picked a topic. We had women come to we have women come to the meetups. It's in a private setting, and they are listening to each other about the topic. The criteria was show up at a Zoom meeting or show up at these meetings, have your camera on, have your mic off, don't be looking around, look directly ahead, look at the person that is talking, and let them know that you hear them and that they matter. Don't fix them in any way. Well, it got to be such a magnificent meetup. Women were saying, today was the day I began to heal. And it sent goosebumps up everybody's back. And the tears that came out of these meetups was phenomenal. And then we realized that we can't be with these women 24/7. But what do they do when they have something that is important to them and they have an emotion that they want to be able to get out, or something angers them? If they're going to build mental strength, the first thing they normally do is they either want to set an appointment with a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist. They want some kind of fix. They want medication. They want a drug. They want something that is going to make them feel better. Well, we set up what we call the mudroom. And the mudroom is based on Simon Sinek's theory that if you are a good friend and you see your friend sitting in the mud, you have a choice. You can either walk away or you can sit in the mud with them, as uncomfortable as it is, as long as it takes, in silence, without judgment, and let them know that they matter and that you hear them and that you care. So the mudroom is open for women to come in. They let us know that we're there. We come in, we sit in silence, and I use the mudroom all the time. But I let you know. And there's something about instant need to vent in a woman that makes her feel good. And what's most important is she can swear, she can say whatever she wants to say. She can be angry, she can be upset, and nobody's going to try and correct them. Nobody's going to offer any advice. You just go in and you know yourself when you feel, you go, wow, I feel better. Thanks for listening. I got to vent. We don't have that as older women. The younger girls, they can do that all the time, but us older women, we're afraid of losing our friendships. We're afraid that we've already lost so many because they've died or whatever, and divorces, and that's how it all started. I'm going to stop now so that you guys can, because I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, I love everything you've shared, but I have a question. Because you talked about bringing women together and giving them a place to be themselves and to listen and to cry if they want to, or to lament, those kinds of things. Why are friendships so difficult to develop and maintain as we age? I know you touched upon it a little bit when you said we're afraid of losing our friends. So could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yes. We found, and I can also talk personally for myself, when you get older, women are no longer talking about the things that they used to. They don't talk about sex anymore. They talk about their ailments. They talk about the things that hurt them. They don't talk about the fun things that are going on. It's always something that's doom and gloom. And women get tired of hearing that. They don't want to hear that, oh, my back is really hurting me, or all of that. But they would be willing to hear about it if women had mental strength built up. Because when a woman that is really strong, she doesn't talk about the illnesses as a burden. She talks about it as an opportunity to grow. And if she wants to share with another woman, she's sharing with her so that it may help her in her area. As older we get, we don't look at helping another person. We look at, what am I going to do to help myself? And that happens a lot. The mindset, it's just a mindset shift. And when that happens, the Goldens that we have in our community right now are totally different than they were a year ago. They're happy. They are confident. They love the idea of being able to co-create. They love the idea of building the strength, and they truly believe that mental strength is what is the catalyst to all illnesses. You know, if you're feeling really lousy and you sit back, I mean, I look at myself as an example. I'm homebound now. I just got out of the hospital, being in hospital ICU for 2.5 weeks. I ended up getting COVID pneumonia. Well, if you can see, I wear a cannula because I have severe stage COPD and congestive heart failure. So I'm bound by a 40-foot cord that is inside my house. And if I want to go out somewhere, it's a real difficult thing. Well, now I'm really homebound. So I have to find a way to bring the world to me. And in doing that, how many other women are in the same boat? Many of the women I've spoken with, they've said, I might as well give up. My kids don't want to see me. They don't want to. Well, the reason your kids don't want to see you is because you're belly aching all the time. You're always complaining, and you're always begging them to come and see you. Well, if you were fun and engaging and confident and you weren't self-sabotaging yourself, and you were feeling good about what you were doing, and you were engaged in helping others, then all of a sudden your kids want to be around you because they look at you as a power of strength. Does that answer it?
I'm going to jump in here real quick with a comment first, and then a question. So you mentioned some of the biggest challenges being related to loneliness and isolation and so forth. I was on your website before we started recording, and you have a virtual presence of sort with your chatbot. So I'm curious, what role in this, the loneliness epidemic does technology play? And that could be virtual reality type stuff, or AI. There are products and services now where people could talk to a bot and whatnot. So just curious where you see that evolving.
And we'll get that answer after a brief word from our commercial sponsors.
NASA is always working harder to be your carrier of choice. We offer insurance products that can help you meet your retirement goals, such as protecting your savings, securing lifetime income, or paying for healthcare costs. We're dedicated to providing best-in-class service and are keeping things simple, and we'll have your back. We have around 400,000 policyholders and contract holders and have been doing this for a long time, 170 years, but we remain humble enough to always try to improve. For more information, visit nfg.com. Nassau insurance products are issued by Nassau Life and Annuity Company of Hartford, Connecticut, Nassau Life Insurance Company, East Greenbush, New York, or Nassau Life Insurance Company of Kansas, Overland Park, Kansas. Subsidiaries of Nassau Financial Group. Products are not available in all areas. Policyholder counts are for all Nassau companies as of September 30th, 2022, and are subject to change.
That's a really good question, Joseph. I'm an AI influencer for aging women. I belong to a group that they're dedicated to creating AI for 30 million women by 2030. I'm sorry, a million women by 2030. The applications that, let me back up just a second here. We have a virtual community, but we also are building a physical community called the Golden Spaces. And that's where the AI technology is coming in for those that want to age in place and also want to have hospital at home type of an environment. The reason we are building the Golden Spaces is for those women that finally have gotten together through the virtual environment and they realize, I want to live with my friends. I really want to be able to do that. So we did the extension of creating the Golden Voices for that very purpose. In incorporating the AI technologies all the way from pill reminders to I've fallen, help me up, to memory supports. All of those are ones that we're very, very actively involved in the Aging in Place organizations so that we can incorporate. We have the Amazon Alexa type technologies that are being incorporated as well. But in terms of what we have on the virtual community, we have avatars that are coming in that will actually be, one of them is a financial avatar that will help with how to create your portfolio and the things that you should avoid. Another one is what we call the Golden Soul. And the Golden Soul is one that will help from a sympathetic standpoint. It's been the knowledge base on it is for identifying what is bothering someone, but without diagnosing or without offering support consultation. In other words, it's a listening bot or AI agent, so to speak. So those are the ones that we are currently putting in. We also have one that is what we're calling the legacy. It's called the Golden Legacy Memoir. And what that is we are going to capture, it's just in the development stages right now, we'll be able to capture the life of the Golden so that once she passes, her children and her family will be able to ask, hey mom, how did you do that spaghetti recipe again? And mom will be able to come out with it. But we realize that many of the women that come in will not be tech savvy. Well, they have to be tech savvy to be part of the Golden Connections because it's an online community. So we don't have a problem with that. But for those women that want to do a legacy and a legacy memoir, they need somebody. So we also have lined up some ghostwriters so that they can help with getting that so that it's not all over the place. Now we do know that the bot or the AI technology is such that it will bring it into a almost like a manual or a Bible or a diary if we want it to. So, but those are the things so AI technology is top on our list.
I love that because you talked a lot about connection and humans and looking, whether it's virtual or in person, looking someone in the eyes, looking them in the face, being there, being present, being an active part of that conversation. But it's also the utilization of technologies, right? Where
Yeah,
you might not, you're not interacting with a human, but the output is human like. So I appreciate the fact, A, of what you're doing to create those connections. And I love the mantra around don't try to fix me. You're not here to try to fix me.
yep,
I'm going to come in. I'm going to say my piece. I might be loud about it. I might be quiet about it, but I'm going to say my piece, and you're not here to fix me. I'm not here to fix you, but let's trade value that we each share. So
exactly.
I love that. I think that that's amazing. And I guess looking forward down the line, if I'm listening to this podcast and I'm thinking as an individual, well, I may not be within that age set yet, but I might have a business, a service, or a talent that I would want to share with a group like this. Kathy, do you have a mind's eye view of where you want this community or this group to be, or types of partners that you're
Yes, we do. We have two different things. We have a collaborative network, and that is for those that want to participate, and they can participate on different levels. Some of them actually are sweat equity, so they can come in on that, or they can get free memberships by contributing. And they can contribute all kinds of resources. So we have it's on our website. It's called the Golden Heart Collaboration Network. In addition to that, just recently, I have my brother on my board, and my brother is a financial guy. And I know, Mary, you guys interviewed her. He's very, very instrumental from a financial side of what is it that we can do to help these women. And because we want to bring businesses together, we realize that if we can attract businesses that are like us, or not like us, that support us. So let's say it might be a home health agency that says, oh, well, we want to work with you. Well, that's so far removed. So what my brother has been doing and what we've been doing is creating what we call the Golden Future Initiative, where we're looking at businesses that are baby boomer businesses, where the baby boomer wants to sell. They want to get out of their business. But we're saying to them, wait, why don't you come with us? You're going to complement what we're doing. We have someone that is interested in possibly buying your business if you meet the criteria. And then you can know that you will be associated with the Golden Life community, and your services will be offered through the Golden Life community. So that's how we want to form our partnerships. And those can be, actually, they can be worldwide partnerships. They don't necessarily, particularly if they're digital partnerships.
It's very timely. I just heard someone talking about businesses that young people should go into, and they were making the case that they should look at, these mom and pop businesses that are just going for 50 years or whatever it is. These people are going to want to retire, so it's a great idea.
Well, we've been fortunate enough to have some people that have come forward and said we'll help with financing the purchase of the business, and we'll come in and we'll retrofit it so that it will work with you. And then also, if they are archaic in their administrative and their technology, we'll upgrade it to that. But you have to have certain criteria in order to meet that. So we realize that there are so many businesses that want to complement and support and partner with us. We didn't know how to put that all together, and we feel a network so that if somebody wants to be able to have a home health service and they have a goal, other thing I should add, that when we started looking at creating the golden spaces, it first started out as a 300 unit full service community in one area. But I'm a TikToker. So I did a TikTok video, and I ended up getting about 170,000 views on this one thing about what to do with mom. What are you going to do with mom? And 2,000 people came forward and said, we've been doing this and we've been doing that. Well, we realized that the Golden Life community is for women 55 and older. Why do we choose 55? Because the 55-year-old woman is looking at her mother and her grandmother, and she's thinking, what am I going to do with mom? Even though it's behind, and she can say until she's blue in the face, well, I'll never let my mother go into a nursing home or into an assisted living facility. That's bull. It does happen. And we want to say to her, if you feel that right now at 55, then guess what? You're going to need to know who your mother really is. And how many really know who their mothers are? How many have sat down with them? How many have found out what their desires were? How many know what they were like when they were younger? So we want to connect them, and that's where the connection comes with the golden connections. That 55-year-old is now face on having to face, what am I going to do with mom? If they're happy with what they see with their mother, then God bless. Everything's all great, and it's planned for, and it's perfect, and you can sit back and relax. But that's not reality. That is not reality at all. The reality is that you haven't done anything about it. And if you have done something, chances are it was your mother that did it. So, and I'm not putting any, it sounded like I was putting blame on the child. I didn't mean to do that. What I meant to say is that it was an awareness factor. So all we're doing is saying, now become aware of the types of things that are available for your mom. Let's say your mom, your dad dies, and your mother has this big house, and does she want to stay there? Do you want her to stay there alone? Do you want her to bring in, does she want a roommate? She says, no, I love my privacy. Well, then, Mom, you've got this big house. What are you going to do with it? Why don't we sell it? Sell my house. This is where I've been here for years. I don't want to do that. Well, Mom, if you don't want to bring anybody in, how about we retrofit it and make it into a golden space, and you can share with other women. We'll create a common area. We'll redesign the whole house. Or how about, Mom, if you want to buy a house, sell your house, buy another house with 4 or 5 other women that have been friends of yours. But you know what, Mom? We're going to have to find out whether those women that you choose are going to be compatible with you, because the last thing you want to do is to go into a house with women that you don't get along with.
Living for 55 plus.
Yeah,
that's a new business right there.
Yeah. So these are the things that we have created, what we call the Golden Housing Facilitator Program, where we identify where is it that you want to go. Women can come to, or the family can come to our website and fill out a questionnaire. And these questions will give us a guideline to determine. And what we've done is we formed a relationship with organizations that will go in and do an assessment on the house and find out what is necessary, particularly to make it accessible and suitable for aging in place, because you have to have the large doorways to anticipate in case you're in a wheelchair. You have to have the bathtubs correct. You have to have the lighting that is correct to help with the falling. The AI technology needs to be put into it so that you can age in place. And all of those things are ones where we have formed relationships with organizations on that. So what we do as the Golden Life community is we facilitate. We don't do the work, we facilitate it. And I'm happy to say that we have gotten an investor that has committed to us for 20 units that we're going to be building in the El Paso, New Mexico area. And we're going to take my home and we're going to convert it into golden spaces. We're going to have 2 casitas out in the back. We're going to put 2 master suites in my home, and we're going to create a live broadcasting studio so that we can broadcast and let people know. And the investor that's coming in happens to be a documentary filmmaker. So he will be creating the back end of it. So we're pretty excited about it. And here I was.
You.
Yeah,
I know. And here I was. I was just 2 months ago. I was on my dying bed again. I almost died from COVID pneumonia. I was in the hospital. And I've survived. The doctors didn't understand how I could survive. So there's a reason and there's a purpose why I'm here.
Absolutely. And Kathy, everything that you've shared is amazing, especially because I had no idea what you just shared, that, you have this investor, this new opportunity. But I'm really curious as we kind of draw a little bit near to the end, and we will have you share a couple of tips with our listeners as to what they should think of, what they should do. Now, there's a lot of information out there. I'm not many different resources. Oh, you're not really resources, you do this, and you explained everything really well. But how would you describe what you do in like 3 words? What would those 3 words be?
Building mental strength. That's
I
it.
love that. I love that.
And the way we do that is through cultivating, nurturing, loving golden friendships. And if you don't know how to be a golden friend, your friends should come first when you're older.
Mm.
Not anything else, not getting your nails done, not getting your hair done. Your friend has needs. If your friend reaches out to you, find the time, show up, be there, listen. Don't try to fix, do nothing, but let them know you care. And that's all a woman needs when she gets older. She's had enough.
I love that. Yeah, I saw Joseph drop the mic. So, again, as we get to the end of our time together, can you just share with our audience a couple of tips that they can take action on today?
Look at what your relationship is with your daughter, with your sister, with all the females in your life. Look at yourself as what are the skill sets that you've had and what are the things that you've given up that you want to go back to doing. Why did you give them up? Do you don't have the time for them? Do you don't think that you can do them anymore? Or do you want to develop some new skill sets? How many friends do you have that are really true friends? You only need one really good golden friend in order to make a difference. And do you have a passion? Do you have a purpose? Do you have a goal when you get older? Because that is one of the things that will keep you alive and keep you healthy, contributing to other. I can't think of any other thing in this entire world, not a house, not being wealthy, not being successful. What are we put on this earth for other than to help others? That's it. That's exactly where it's at. And the women that are older women who are lonely, who have lost, they've lost it all. They've lost being a matriarch. They've lost the kids. They've lost the ability to manage and take care of other people. And now they don't know how to anymore. So wouldn't it be wonderful if you had the opportunity to create a golden friendship and be one?
No, that's great. I love that. And Laura, I'm going to turn it over to you for our final question.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kathy, you've touched on so much of this already, but I'll ask it again, and maybe the different phrasing will spark a different response. But you've done many things. You can continue to do many things. Why do you wake up and make this your why?
Because my life has been a series of ups and downs and challenges. I don't want that to go to waste. I feel that by sharing what my experiences have been and how I've made lemonade out of lemons, every time I've had a crisis in my life, I've found a way to use that crisis and turn it into helping others. So that type of pattern and that type of model has worked for me. And more importantly, my small back set helped others in so many ways. I feel that I've helped so many people, and I'm an animal advocate too, so I do the same thing with animals. You know, in other words, I find that pony in that pile of poop.
That's a new one.
That might be actually the name of the episode.
I think so. I absolutely think so. I appreciate your candidness, and I do like that. I'm going to play that one back. It could be the title, like you said, Laura.
Okay. Find the pony
Kathy,
in the
if individuals want to get a hold of you, what's the best way? We will put everything in the show notes.
Okay, they can reach me by email, Kathy, Kathy, at thegoldenlifecommunity, or they can go to our website at www.thegoldenlifecommunity.com. Or if they want to actually, for those women that want to join and become part of our virtual community, there is no cost for them to come involved with it. We do have additional programs or plans that they can join where there is a cost for them. But to initially be part and request to join, they can go to thegoldenconnections.com, not www, just thegoldenconnections.com. And there will be a request to join, and they'll be asked some questions, asking them to agree to show up and to contribute.
No, that's great. Kathy, thank you for joining us today on Prime Life Podcast. Joseph, Laura, great to see you again. And
You as
loved your comments and your thoughtful questions. And to all of our listeners, we look forward to being with you on the next episode of the Prime Life Podcast. Don't forget to follow us, to give us feedback, like us. We'd love to hear from you. Everyone have a great rest of your day.
Remember to subscribe to the Prime Life Podcast anywhere you find podcasts. You can find all of our episodes, contact information, and more on our website, primelifepodcast.com. Stay connected with us. Follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.